This scrapyard has 450 cars in it, and every single one of them is a Volvo.
This is Lakes Autos just north of London, and it is a truly magical spot. And deep within it, I found an iconic gem that Richard will love, and an incredibly rare and quirky performance engine. These Volvos aren't here to be sold off and restored like I'm sure many of you would want. This is an old school breaker's yard, specialising in these legendary bricks.
This is essentially the shop here at Lakes, and as you can see, it's full of Volvo gold. Clearly, the big money makers are headlights, tail lights, radios, and door mirrors.
This place was clearly massive, so we took a moment with the owner, Barry, to ask some questions and hear about the history of this scrapyard.
Barry, thank you for having us. Tell us the story of this amazing facility. Where did it all start?
It started in 1947 when my father came down from London, and we've always broken a few cars. But looking at the way the market was for spares, there was about 10 garages that were breaking cars around here. And I said to Father, right, let's go Volvo. And it's turned into this. It may be one of the scruffiest sites on the A1 when people are looking for us, just say, look for the scruffy one with the Volvos.
Well, that's how I found it. I literally drove past and was like, we have to go there one day. It looks amazing in there.
I've had to slow down a lot. This will probably disappear in the next 2 years.
Oh, really? What's the clear up going to be like? Where's it all going to go? Is it just all going to be cubed and that's that?
Basically, yes, they will be crushed.
Okay. What a shame. You haven't always worked here owning this business. You also had quite an illustrious career back in the day with some engineering.
I ended up at the Royal Aircraft Establishment,
And
wind tunnels.
that means two planes, right? Two main planes, and they are
Concorde and Jaguar.
Concorde and Jaguar. This man helped develop Concorde. Is there a particular gem on the site right now that we should definitely seek out and find? Is there a car around here that's, I mean, I'm big into my R Volvos, 850R, T5R, any of that stuff.
Those tend to break so far that there's nothing left.
Okay. Is there even a shell somewhere?
No,
one of those?
even the shells.
Wow. Genuinely, Barry, it's been amazing to come here and meet you, and I'm sure your family, both past and present, are super proud of you and what you've done here. It's an amazing site.
Oh, I don't know if they'd rather nag me. I love them.
Well, yeah, thank you, Barry. It's meant a lot. Thanks for having us. Volvos are known as the tanks of the car world, and you can control your own tank via the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. War Thunder says that they are the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. You can take command of over 2,500 tanks, helicopters, planes and ships from 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armoured vehicles of the 1920s right through to fighter jets and battle tanks of today's battlefields.
There's incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics and authentic sound effects, placing you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Join a worldwide community of over 70 million players in epic battles today, with an unmatched wealth of high quality content to discover for fans of military history. What's really cool is War Thunder has one of the most sophisticated vehicle damage models in gaming. Every vehicle is intricately modelled down to its individual components like engines, fuel tanks, weapons and crew, all susceptible to damage or disabling from enemy fire, and different types of armour, shells and missiles behave like their real-world counterparts. It features a comprehensive customization system with countless camouflages, historical markings and decorations for all types of vehicles, including community-created ones.
War Thunder is available for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and there's a new mobile version too, which means you can take the battlefield to wherever you go. So sign up using the links in the pinned comment or in the description. New and returning users that haven't played in the last 6 months will also get a massive bonus pack. That includes multiple premium vehicles and a vehicle decorator. This bonus is only available for a limited time only, so click the link and get going.
Coming into today, I had a list of cars to look out for. An 850R Saloon or Estate, the later V70R, the XC90 V8, the one with the Yamaha built engine that went in the Noble M600, and the C30 T5, in my opinion, the best looking modern Volvo.
The vast majority of cars in here are 90s and 2000s Volvos. Let's see if we can find some proper gems in here. There are cars in here that are so far gone or so entrenched in foliage, we're not actually 100% sure what they are. So, you manic petrol heads out there, we're gonna show 5 cars. You tell us in the comments what they are, starting with this.
Five cars, let us know how you did in the comments.
A car ticked off the list, Volvo C30. I have a real soft spot for these. Sadly, it's not the 2.4 5-cylinder petrol. I think this is a, oh, it's a 1.8. A little fact about these though, the rear window can write off these cars. I've heard that basically if you get rear-ended, this is kind of a custom rear glass here. Barry's got one. If you get rear-ended in your C30 and the insurance company is saying we're going to write it off, give Barry a ring. Now let's have a look. 1.8. That probably makes it a 4-cylinder. I'm slightly trepidatious to open bonnets around here because 1, it seems most of the engines have been taken out, and 2, there could quite easily be wildlife. I've just heard a bird of prey squawk over there. Nope, we're all good. Just leaves and stuff. So yeah, 4-cylinder, pretty standard, petrol, 1.8. Maybe predictably there's a bit of a vegetable patch going on in there. Still, cool car. Something off the list ticked. Next. I said at the start it was all Volvos. How about this? A little Series Landy out of nowhere. It's quite firmly in this hedge. These brambles are starting to snare it back to nature. Isn't that a cool looking thing? I reckon there's still life in this. The chassis will be completely corroded, but you could redo the shell, whack it on a new chassis. I can't imagine we'll be able to get into the engine bay. But, you know, knowing these things, bit of oil, jump pack, maybe having to throw a battery in it, it'll probably fire back up. Do you know what? I'm gonna WhatsApp Richard a picture of this. I reckon he could quite like this story. He's really sentimental about these things. I reckon a quick WhatsApp of a few angles of it, saying, do you fancy this? And he'll be on the phone to Barry. I think I've found the car that I would take home in this entire yard here. It's a V70 2.5 non-turbo. Now that may not seem that exciting, but I've given up trying to find an hour. They just seem to get swept up the second they arrive here. Actually, 2 people have phoned Barry while we've been filming with them about V70R and 850R parts, and he just laughed at them down the phone. But this thing is very special because it's a manual. That's the one thing about kind of high-end Volvos. They're almost all automatic, even the Rs, but this one has got 3 pedals and a stick. And it looks like it's not been sat here that long. The weather hasn't got into the car. The interior looks mint. The brakes are completely binded on, so it would take some fettling to get out of here. But this is actually pretty cool. It's been sitting long enough for the foliage to start erupting around it. Is it corroded? I mean, it's mostly plastic I'm seeing, but looking past the plastic, it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, I mean, there's the normal British surface corrosion, but I reckon this is a solid car. It's missing a rear bumper, and yeah, there you go. V70 2.5, so it's a non-turbo car, but surely it's got the same subframe that a T5 engine would sit on. I've not seen a T5 engine yet, they've all been NA, but I reckon Barry has squirreled some of that stuff away in his proper facility there, in that building. Volvo has made 2 main 5-cylinder engines, the modular petrol engine and the D5 diesel. The petrol 5 pots have aluminium blocks, aluminium heads and forged steel conrods. The turbocharged ones can have their boost turned up fairly easily and they can sound awesome. The holy grail for me is the 2.3 5-pot, known as the B5 234 T5. The 850R Estate with that engine in it is still a dream car of mine. Manual, cream yellow, good luck finding one of them. Modern engine developers generally stick to a certain formula when it comes to cylinder displacement in an engine. They generally stick to 500 cc's. That's why a 4-cylinder engine is normally 2 litres, a 6-cylinder 3 litres, a V8 4 litres, and most 5-cylinder engines are 2.5. But Volvo clearly didn't really feel they needed to stick to that formula. Yes, they made a 2.5, but also a 2.4 and a 2.3, even a 2-litre 5-pot. I'd say Audi has the most famous 5-cylinder engines, but I'd also say that Volvo, percentage-wise, put many more 5-pots in their cars than anyone else. Just over my shoulder here, I've counted 10 turbo and non-turbo Volvo 5-cylinder engines. Do you reckon Barry will take a quid for one of them next engine build? Why does Volvo love a 5-cylinder engine so much? Well, there's more potential for power over a 4-cylinder. By adding an extra cylinder, you can spread the power out, and they're also more reliable for it too. They are also 1 cylinder short of, say, a BMW straight 6, and that means it can be more versatile into how you place it in the engine. You can go transversely or longitudinally, and that gives you more flexibility in terms of front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive systems. A 5-pot also runs smoother than a 4-cylinder because there's more firing intervals within the 720-degree cycle. That means before one power stroke is finished, the next one has already started. So instead of jerking the crankshaft round, leaving gaps in between those power strokes, they kind of merge into one, which means a much smoother running engine. They also sound awesome due to the firing order and the way the exhaust pulses interact with each other. They are notorious for having this incredibly unique sound. When you think about it, you could look at it as one bank of a V10 engine. And if you really rev these things, you can hear a bit of that V10 coming through. What's even cooler about the Volvo 5-pot is that Porsche helped develop it. Not a bad company to get into bed with when you're coming up with an engine. This is a rare beast. Now, most of the cars in here have been debadged, but you can see on this one it says S80 T6. Now, there's lots of T5s around here, turbo 5-cylinders, although most of the engines are gone. This, as the badge suggests, is a 6-cylinder. I said earlier that if you're going to go transverse with an engine, it kind of needs to be a 4 or 5-cylinder. Volvo, for whatever reason, it has got the engine in it. In there is a transverse straight 6 twin turbo. I would love to talk to the engineers as to how they came to that conclusion. Why not just tune up your T5 engine? But yeah, in there is a straight 6 twin turbo, and because that's such a long engine, they actually had to completely redesign a unique gearbox just for this car. I bet you that was a bit expensive. I can guarantee they didn't sell many of these things. It wasn't even that much power over the 5-cylinder. The 5-cylinders went to like 250-ish. I think this was 270. So all this bother, an extra cylinder and 2 turbos instead of 1 for 20 horsepower. Are these things tunable? If someone knows out there, give me a shout. This is quite the find. What's next? We've ventured into the inner sanctum here at Lakes. This is quite a special car. This was Barry's dad's car. It's a 220 SE Mercedes. That is definitely a car worth saving, both financially and also for Barry sentimentally. That's a very cool thing. Not a Volvo, but very cool. He has told me that somewhere in here there is a T5R engine. I've just got to find it. I guess I'm just looking for a 5-cylinder engine with a turbo attached to it. Ah! I found it because someone's written on it T5R. Look at that. It looks like it's possibly missing the turbo. Yeah, that is the puppy. This would power my 850R in cream yellow and manual. This would be it. Is this worth an engine rebuild? Should I offer Barry a couple of quid for it? Be twice as much I paid for our AJ16. It's cool that it's in here as well. There's literally nothing R outside. In the inner sanctum, there's hope. What I would give to have a place like this full of Mondeo STs and Rovers. You Volvo guys don't know how lucky you've got it, but as has been stated in this video, Time is ticking. It's T-minus 2 years until all of this is gone. So if you need parts for your Volvo to keep it on the road, hit up Barry and get yourselves down here. My back pocket just vibrated. Is that Richard Hammond answering whether he wants that Landy? Ooh.
Remember to check out War Thunder, use the links to sign up and get a massive free bonus pack for PC and consoles.